Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, heard Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on PSA.com and the PSA Facebook page. The Great American Collectibles Show is brought to you by PSA and the National Sports Collectors Convention. Tonight's headlines are brought to you by Sports Collectors Daily. For all of your hobby news, features, and more, visit sportscollectorsdaily.com. And now, your hosts, Tom Zappala and John Molori.
JM, my man, how you doing, brother?
What's up, Zap? How are you, buddy?
Good. Speak up a little bit because I know you're in prison still.
I said, what's up, Zap? How you doing?
Good. We're doing well. How's everything?
I'm going to do the Garrett Morris for the rest of the show.
You know, it's interesting, though. It really is. The decor of your jail cell is actually pretty stock, if you ask me.
Very stoic. Yeah, I'm going for a look here.
Are you really? Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. Tom Zappala and my good friend and one of my two co-hosts, JM, Johnny Molori, is remote today again. John, when are you going to be back in the studio with us? I mean, are you ever going to be back?
Maybe not the next one, but the one after that.
Okay. Promise?
I know I can't promise.
Okay. We've got a good show today. We're going to bring in our good friend, Joe Drelich from the Philly Show. We're going to talk to Joe. Then we have Mike Keys coming in. Mike is the COO of SCP Auctions. They have a really cool auction going on. I was online yesterday checking it out. And then later on in the show, we have Jared Kavile from Pristine is going to spend a few minutes with us. Remember, subscribe, like, and share the show with your friends. You can watch us on Facebook, YouTube. You can listen to us pretty much anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Alexa, you know, JM, have you asked Alexa? You should ask her tonight when you're sitting down having your cocktail. Say, Alexa, play the Great American Collectibles Show.
You know, the funny thing is, I actually, when we were at dinner last week, and, you know, I know you mention all the time it's Alexa, but I had never done it. So I actually did it like a couple weeks ago, and I was actually having a cocktail. And yeah, you can pick up any episode.
Pandora. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Podbean.
Yeah.
What else?
It's great.
Listen, so we are remote today, and here's the little peek behind the curtain. I'm here in the studio. JM is remote. We have two wonderful producers, David Martinez and Chrissy Cunningham. David is behind the scenes, and he's working from his deathbed. He's got COVID. Not his deathbed, but he's pretty sick. He's got COVID. And Chrissy is here, drunk as a skunk, because she's been drinking all morning.
I need to.
No, Chrissy's been great.
This.
Chrissy's been great.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring in Joe first, our good friend, Joe Drelich. Joseph, how are you?
Doing good. Tom, how you doing?
Good.
And John, of course. I'm looking.
Hey, Joe,
at you, Tom,
how you doing, buddy?
You know, I can't forget you. There you are, John. There you are.
You know, you've been a busy guy. A lot going on in your life, but you got the Philly show coming up. Tell us about it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're looking forward to it this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're at the new location at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center. This will be our second event in the new location, which is about 6 miles away from our old location, which was the Valley Forge Casino. And it's allowed us to really expand and accommodate not only our customers to give them more space and room to be comfortable at our event, but it's allowed some of the dealers that have been patiently sitting on our wait list to come in to the venue to be a part of it. So now we're up to almost 180 different dealers from 22 different states. Our exhibit space has grown from 55,000 square feet to almost 90,000 square feet.
Wow.
And we're still sold out. So that's a great thing. You know, the dealers seem to really like the new space that we're in. It's pretty friendly from a dealer perspective, move in, move out. Aisles are nice and wide, carpet on the floor. And then we've started to implement some new customer-friendly things. This event here, we'll have a free face painting station for all those Philly fans that want Phillies logos and Eagles logos. The Philly sports team market has been having a pretty good year this year with the Phillies making the World Series, and you know, the Eagles really playing good football now at 10-1. So we're preparing for that. You know, we've got a really great trade night that goes on Saturday night, and that's basically a free event It's almost an extension of the card show, but it's just basically where the collectors come in, and it's held at the same meeting rooms in Hall A. And it's free to come in. It's sponsored by Santiago Sports, who's been a great sponsor of our trade night for the last few events that we've had. And David Adams Card World is also a sponsor there. So give them a little shout out because they just sponsor it. There's no kickback to us or anything like that. It's just to give back to the customers.
Very
and,
cool.
From 6 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night on Saturday, kids can come in and trade. Not just kids, but, we love it when the kids are there. So we're encouraging all that. We're having all kinds of free giveaways during the trade night for free admissions into the show, cash prizes that can be spent on the floor. We've got Bryce Harper cards being handed out to any kid 12 and under on Saturday at the show. So that's some of our focus right now is to come up with different intricate ways to incorporate an experience as well as a card show where people can come and have a great time.
Hey, Joe, I know you touched on it a little bit, but it's really, well, I'm a Boston guy, so I'm not thrilled that Philly's doing great in all these sports. But I mean, when you think about it, though, like it's one of the most rabid fan bases in all of sports. Very similar to Boston.
They're a little wacky.
They're a little meaner. They're a little more
wacky.
I didn't think we were. I thought we were pretty mean, but Philly's a little meaner. I've seen it firsthand. But the electricity of what's happening in Philly, the soccer team was in the MLS finals, the Phillies doing great, the Eagles are 10-1 as we do this show. Does that electricity, kind of move over to the show itself? And I know there are people there from beyond Philadelphia, but can you feel that electricity with the actual show?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we've been through this before, luckily, through when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So we had, an experience.
Yeah, thanks for that reminder, too. Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah, they beat this team from up in the Boston area.
God almighty.
Overrated quarterback. No. Just kidding. He's the GOAT. He's the best. But anyway, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we have one of our largest lineups this show also for our autograph guests. We have 34 autograph guests at this event, and some of those include, and this is going to touch on your point, Kyle Schwarber is probably our top level guest.
Right.
We also have Bryson Stott, who's a very hot prospect for the Phillies. Matt Vierling from the team, an up and coming prospect, Andrew Painter, Nick Maton. So we've got 5 guys from the Phillies team, and you can just clearly see what you're talking about in our sales. Our pre-sales are pretty ridiculous at this point. Kyle's getting close to being sold out. We weren't exactly sure what to expect just with the loss because, a victory is different than a loss. But even with the loss, I mean, the calls just are nonstop. The mail orders just coming in for him. We sold out his photo ops in less than 12 hours.
Hold on, JM, isn't that Waltham
Sure.
Kyle? Wasn't that guy's name Waltham Kyle when he was playing for Boston?
Why did they call him that?
Because he lived in Waltham. Everybody called him Waltham.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Hey, listen, Joe,
that was another great move.
Yeah, I know. Please don't go down that road. Yeah. Hey, Joe, before we let you go, I know that you're good friends with Rico. Last week we did every week, as you know, when Rico's in, we do a segment called On Deck with Rico, where a listener or viewer sends a question in. Rico doesn't know what the question is going to be and answers it on the spot. Last week, so I want you to see this video because it's really funny. Christy, this is Rico last week answering this question. Oh, hold on. Okay. She's pressing buttons, so it should work shortly. Are we good?
He answered the tough questions. On Deck with Richard Patricelli.
Okay, it's time for On Deck with Rico, brought to us by our good friend Brian Dwyer and the great staff at REA Auctions. Don't forget to get your bid in by going to robertedwardauctions.com.
What does he get?
That's Robert Edward Auctions for extraordinary results and extraordinary service. This week's question, and by the way, he will win a
shirt?
No, a T-shirt, not that thing.
Oh, yeah.
That thing costs too much
7
money.
years, I can't get a new one from him.
This question was submitted by a gentleman whose name is Dominic Messina. Nice Italian name. This is a great question. What is the atmosphere in a clubhouse when the team stinks? Then he has, i.e. 1965 Red Sox,
My rookie
which
year.
you were on the team.
100 losses.
What is the atmosphere in the clubhouse when the team stinks the whole season? I want to hear this one.
Everybody hates each other, number one. The manager won't speak. The manager won't speak to anyone. We used to have, we had the table afterwards where the clubhouse guys would put a spread on, so we could have a sandwich or something afterwards. The manager would come off after like the 95th law and start the table and throw the table and food at us. He says, I don't believe it. Billy Herman. Billy Herman was the manager. Poor guy aged about 50 years. Oh,
So
God.
did you guys used to blame each other? Like if a pitcher sucked?
Oh, yeah.
what
We
would
used
you
to tell him, you suck, Billy. Holy jeez. Oh, jeez. Where'd you hold that ball? Go out there and say, where'd you hold that? It's well over here. Well, don't do it again. Jeez.
God, that is funny.
It's not a good atmosphere, really, because everybody's sad. You come in and you say, how are we going to lose this one today?
God. That team was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
That 65 team was god-awful.
100 losses, man.
100 losses there.
Minnesota beat us 17 out of 18.
Wow.
We wanted part of their World Series share. We got you here, guys.
Classic. All right. So that was Rico last week.
That's hilarious.
He just is.
That's great.
All right, so
That's
Joe.
a heck of a question.
I
What
really-
a great question.
So Joe, again, when does this show start?
Show starts this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And you can check out www.phillyshow.com for all the information. And we hope to see you guys there. We'd love to
Fantastic.
have you guys back again, too. So
We'll be
hopefully maybe
back.
next year we'll get you guys there again.
Take care, Joe. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys.
Joe
Happy
Drelich
holidays.
from the Philly Show. Good guy. Good guy. Yeah, JM, that was a piece of Rico.
That's great.
I tell you, he was
That's
very,
great.
very, very funny. We had.
Hey, you know what, Zap? I was watching. They're rerunning the baseball documentary.
I've been watching
Ken
it.
Burns one. So I caught the last part, the whole 1970s. I tell you what, I didn't even realize, and I should know this. Rico Petrocelli was on first base when Carbo
Yeah,
hit the 3-run homer that tied the game.
he was on
I
base.
didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Lynn was on second, I think, and Rico walked
Yeah.
to set up Carbo for that 3. I didn't even know that.
And then Rico told me when he was, he's mentioned this, when Fisk was up, he was in the dugout, and when Fisk hit the home run, he jumped so high he hit his head on the top of the dugout ceiling. All right, listen, let's bring in our real special guest today, Mike Keys,
Yeah.
Chief Operating Officer of SCP Auctions. Michael, welcome.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me today.
Good.
Hey, Mike.
We're thrilled. SCP, one of the finer auction houses in the country. You guys have an auction. You've got some great stuff. Talk about the auction. When does it start? When does it finish? And then we'll go from there.
Sure. Yeah, it's some tremendous offerings in this sale, and we opened on the 23rd of November, just right before Turkey Day there. Had some great activity over the holiday weekend, and we're closing up on December 10th, Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. That's when extension starts. So if you're going to bid, you got to get your initial bids in before 7 p.m. on December 10th, Saturday.
You know, I was online, and what really sticks out is that 52 tops mantle. Can you tell us about it?
Sure. We got a couple of them actually. We got the primo one. Lot one is it's a near mint 8 CSG, probably the biggest card they've ever graded. Right?
I was going to ask that question. Yeah, this has got to be the biggest.
Absolutely. So Andy Broom, their VP, he's been in the hobby forever. He comes from Beckett. The parent company there, NGC. They've been doing coins and comic books and all kinds of other segments that they've just recently. I know they've kind of got the contract with eBay, right, as the premier grader. So they've slid in there, and so they've definitely made an impact on the hobby already. And I think this card will help kind of solidify their reputability and we're happy to offer it. It's one of the nicest ones I've ever seen in person. And I was at the National, so I saw Kendrick's 10 that was on display, and of course, that's a beautiful card. It'll never be sold, in my opinion.
You're right.
This is probably the nicest out of the 4 8s that have sold since 2021. This is, top 1 or 2, as far as centering, color, it's immaculate. So it's been a privilege to handle, and I love looking at this stuff. I don't get to handle cards this nice every day. So, and SCP, a company, has handled many PSA 8s and other high-end cards, over the years. And we've set records and we've done really well with them. This is the nicest one that I think David Kohler, our president, would attest is probably the nicest one he's seen in person as well.
Very cool.
We're happy to offer
Hey,
it.
just out of curiosity, at this snapshot in time, and today is Wednesday, what is right now, what's the bid at, on that particular?
Yeah, I think as of yesterday, took another bid last night. I want to say right now the hammer's 442. So, we've crossed that 500,000 mark.
Right, and you got a ways to go.
And we expected to sell. Sure. We expected to sell for over $1 million. The 8 at Heritage just sold for 1.4. We don't see why this one won't achieve a similar number or better. This is a nicer copy. Not to take away from whoever won that card. Congratulations, great card. I just, this one is nicer, and you can look at them side by side. And what we tell our clients when they ask my opinion on any card is, don't buy the holder, don't buy the grade, buy the card, right? So you look at the card and you make your decision, especially if you're a collector. You have the investment side of things, which, a lot of guys are going that way. And of course, there's always that aspect on the back of people's minds. But this is one of the nicest copies that anybody could own. So if you're buying a 52 Mantle, it's a big investment to make. You want this card. It's one of the finer ones.
Absolutely agree with you.
Mike, this is a great auction. There's a lot of variety in here. There's some modern, there's a lot of vintage. Can you just touch upon, you have some great Ruth items. You have some Ruth Gaudies and you have a Ruth game used bat. Can you talk about that a little bit? Yeah,
the game used bat, beautiful bat. It does have that 9-inch crack on the handle. That's why I think I got that PSA 7.5 from John. But the Mears 8.5 grade has been on that bat for a long time. It's beautiful. It's got all that original patina and color. I love the way these bats smell. That's one of my favorite things to do when we get a vintage bat in is just smell it. And
totally right.
It smells like an old like an old cabin or something. One of my favorite categories are game used bats. So and I've been privileged to handle many Ruth bats, Gehrig bats, and privately we've sold a Cobb bat within the last year. And I love the way they feel, the way they smell. That bat, I figure, is going to be about $100,000 or more, in my opinion. It's a great bat. Again, don't collect the grade, collect the bat. Look it over. We encourage people to come in, look at the bat, feel the bat, hold the bat. And same goes for if you're in our area in Southern California, which unfortunately a lot of the population is on the East Coast. But if you're in the area, we do encourage our clients to come in, especially if they're going to make a big purchase and kind of just get their hands on some of the artifacts. We have that Ruth Gehrig ball as well.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Really, really nice Ruth autograph on that ball. Obviously we couldn't get it graded because they got to grade both autos.
Sure.
The Gehrig auto is really nice as well. Overall, the ball, in my opinion, is it's near mint. It's a nice ball, and the Ruth auto is great. So again, another piece that I figure hopefully would sell for anywhere from 75,000 plus.
Very, very cool. We are chatting with Mike Keys, COO for SCP Auctions. I think we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Mike, I want to get into really into the crux of some of the other stuff. I mean, you got some really cool stuff.
Amazing stuff.
He's got Yaz's 78 contract.
I saw that. I saw that.
Not bad. Yeah. Not bad.
No, I know.
All right, hang in there.
My favorite player in it was my kind of favorite year, not the way it ended. But
so he was your favorite player?
Yes, by far was my favorite player. You kidding me?
I loved Carlos Quintana.
So if you're thinking of a gift for me, Zap, a nice Christmas gift for me, that contract might be nice.
Checks in the mail. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back and chatting with Mike Keys, COO of SCP Auctions. JM is in the house. David is, I don't know where David is. David's kind of like half sick, half healed. I don't know. Chrissy's here, but that's all
Drunk.
we need. That's all we need, Chrissy. Just as long as you're here, that's all we care about.
Like a wino.
But she is the she steers the ship. Let's put it that way. All right, let's talk about the 78 years contract, Mike.
Sure.
Very
yeah,
cool piece. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, one of our more, kind of just filler kind of items, if you will, right? But it's really cool for Red Sox fans, right?
Now, was this the contract going into the 78 season, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because I know he had, because JM, correct me if I'm wrong, but he took a pay cut after he popped out in the 78 in that one game playoff, correct? Remember, he made the last out, so they docked him, didn't they?
They did. And, Mr. Yawkey was gone by then, that he was Yawkey's guy, so they did. But, I think it was after that, he had a chance to go to the Yankees. The Yankees wanted to sign him, but he ended up staying in Boston. But that contract, Mike, is a pretty neat thing to see. I mean, that's pretty unbelievable.
Well, and plus it was that year. It was that playoff year, that one game playoff.
Year, right? Yeah.
Bucky effing Dent, all of that stuff, right?
I know. By the way, he also had a home run in that game, which people forget.
I don't care. He popped out.
They all remember he made the last.
I don't want to hear it. He popped out.
He also had a home run in that game.
I don't want to hear it. He popped out. He popped out.
Jerry Remy didn't do anything in that game. Everyone loved him.
It's definitely a cool offering, and contracts, as you guys know, they don't pop up every day. And,
no, they don't.
No, they don't.
Especially Hall of Famers like Yastrzemski. So we're another cool piece that we have in the sale. For sure.
I got to tell you, Mike. I have this one piece that I admit it, I've been bragging about it over the last month that I picked up in an auction. I was able to grab Grover Cleveland when he won the Triple Crown of pitching. He went into the Chicago office and said, "Hey, I'm as good as Walter Johnson. I want to get paid what he's getting paid, $12,000 a year," and they paid him. I have the contract. It's really a cool contract.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's a cool piece.
That's a really cool piece. It's not displayed though. It's in a safe. So.
Hey, you know what? Whatever you want to do, keep it there. Admire it when you want to.
Mike, I want to get your view on this as someone that has, like I said, a really varied auction here. Obviously, there's some great cards, great signed balls and things like that. But kind of picking up on the game used bat, the contract, game worn jerseys, things like that. It seems to me that collectors are getting more interested in that because of the fact that it was so close to the actual player, the actual personality, as opposed to a card that might be worth, 7 figures. But give me your thoughts on that. Do you see that as well?
Absolutely. I mean, I'll just real quick, just to segue just off of that is, if you look at David Kohler, our president's collection, he's got the largest Lakers collection in the world. Sorry, Boston guys. But, most of the stuff in there is game worn stuff, game used equipment, Kobe's cast. So, when you're collecting this stuff, you really just want to collect what you love, right? And cards are great. Some people love cards. They like that trading card aspect of it all. They like to look at the artwork and all that. But when you're looking at like the Judge or the Ohtani jerseys we're offering or the Ruth bat again, the Sultan of SWAT used that bat and likely hit multiple homers with that thing.
I mean, his DNA is on it. You know what I mean? That's why you got to look at it. And I agree with you.
Yeah. And so, I probably have Ruth's DNA embedded into my hands now because I've handled that.
Exactly.
Never swung the bat. That's not kosher. You don't swing those things. Right. I did put on the Judge jersey when it came in.
Did you really?
I'm a small guy, right? I'm 5'5". I popped it on. Thing looked like a dress on me just for fun. Hey, look at this thing.
When I had when we did, I can't remember what book it was. It must have been the Cracker Jack book, one of those books. And J.P. Cohen sent, it was a Ty Cobb game used bat. He actually shipped it to my house, and we used it for part of the photo shoot. And all I can remember is me holding that bat, and Ellen took about 20 pictures of me holding that bat in front of my kitchen table, and I still have it. Just you can't make that stuff up.
It's there's a feeling, there's an aura about those pieces. The game worn stuff, you can if it hasn't been laundered, which a lot of it hasn't.
Right.
You can smell what Aaron Judge smelled like that night. And,
no, it's very cool. I agree.
Mike, I just want to jump on that a little bit. Since obviously this landmark season with the 62 home runs for Judge, what has happened to him in the hobby? His season is over now, but what has happened to him, since that happened in terms of where he is in collectibles now?
Oh, I mean, he's definitely highly sought after now, right? From cards to jerseys to bats to gloves. I mean, whatever, right? Aaron Judge is hot right now. I know the 60-second ball ended up elsewhere, which we're bummed about. But at the end of the day, it's the right time to sell that ball. I don't think it'll, just like when we sold the Bonds balls for, close to $1 million a decade or so ago, or more than that now. Timing is of the essence for things like that, but it's in terms of his collectability, massive. He has cemented himself into Yankees lore. They better re-sign him. It's going to be good for his legacy, right? I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm just saying for his legacy and for the Yankees to kind of just continue their tradition of hanging on to these types of guys. You know, unfortunately, the Red Sox like to get rid of guys like Ruth. And anyway, but yeah, Judge definitely has cemented himself as a huge player, and he's got a lot of collectibility.
You know, think about it. Think about you know, JM. You're going to go to you and I are going to go to the game. We buy a couple of dogs, have a beer, sit in the bleachers, and you catch a ball and you're $5 million richer.
Right.
Right. It's like getting a call from your wife. Hey, we just won the lottery. You know, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Hey,
I caught a foul tip from Rico in 1976. Not worth a plug nickel.
Hey, Mike, I want to ask you. I did notice it jumped out at me, being a Celtics fan, as is JM. You've got a DJ and Cowan's game used jersey. When did you guys pick those up?
What was the question again?
You have a Dennis Johnson and Dave Cowan's game used jerseys.
Yes. Yeah, no, phenomenal pieces. We've got a lot of vintage basketball in this auction, not just Celtics, but you know, those pieces they're special. Again, and when you get back to the game used stuff, those don't pop up every day.
I know
you're not going to see that anywhere else probably after this sale. It's not likely that those will surface again.
Mike, are you a collector?
Listen, Mike,
Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
They're just picking up on the basketball. There's a lot of niche collectors out there. And I noticed in your auction, you have some ABA jerseys in there. I mean, I'm talking, you know, there may be not a lot of people out there collecting ABA, but if you're an ABA fan, you have some cool stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, the basketball history is there, right? With the ABA, even NBA guys who are loyal to whatever their NBA loyalties are, and you're collecting vintage basketball, ABA has to be part of that collection.
Absolutely.
Oh, are you kidding me?
John Beasley.
I mean, the ABA was such an injection of for the NBA. I mean, you know, when those 3 or 4 teams came over, I mean, some of the studs on those teams were unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. J did for basketball what MJ did, you know, decades earlier.
I mean, you had a bunch of you had Spencer Haywood. Was it Moses? Did Moses Malone start in the
Moses was there.
Malone? Yeah, I mean, they had some great players.
Look, one of the great franchises, the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah,
that was an ABA team.
That's right. So, are you a collector, Mike? Do you collect at all?
When I got into the hobby about 4 years ago, I was blessed to get into SCP Auctions. Dave Kohler hired me. You know, one of the things that I really like to collect, and I don't have a massive collection at all yet, but one thing I plan on continuing to pursue are Type 1 photographs. Not just of sports. I like historical. I'm a huge Batman fan, so I actually have a Adam West Type 1 from
cool
from the Batman film in the 1960s, and so I'd like to build off of that at some point. But sports, I'm a huge Laker fan, so I've got some signed photographs and media, you know, small time stuff.
Wait a minute, the Lakers, isn't that the team that the Celtics used to beat like a drum during the 60s? I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that's the team that had like Elgin Baylor and Jerry West. And they could never beat the Celtics. I could be mistaken, but
no, you're right. You're right. No,
Gail Goodrich
had those Celtics teams firing. So,
hey, I wanted to ask you, and we ask all of our guests this question: What is your take on the modern / ultra modern investor? Is it more for the investment or is it more for the love of the hobby, in your opinion?
You know, honestly, I think it kind of goes both ways, to be truthful, because there's a lot of young guys that are, you know, younger than I am. I'm pushing 40 now. So, you know, I'm talking about some of these young kids they've got some money from whatever, crypto investments and all that good stuff. And some of those kids are really buying what they love. Now, there is definitely a huge investment impact as well. As you can see, you know, that segment has kind of, I don't want to speak poorly on it, but it's kind of dropped off a lot more than, you know, strong vintage cards, low pop, high rarity. That stuff is going to be strong forever, and it's continued to outperform the stock market. The modern cards, you can see, my opinion is that it's kind of tracked more on that investment side, but there certainly are a lot of collectors who truly love that stuff.
Well, and the reason I'm asking the question is, I mean, you're hitting it on the head. Vintage stuff, we've talked about this a zillion times. It's almost like a blue chip stock. It's like an AT&T or an IBM.
Yep.
The thing that I'm not sure that I feel that I'm on the fence about is in the modern and ultra-modern market, they're kind of creating a market with these manufactured rarities. Case in point, I know a Luka Doncic card just sold for over $3 million. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that it was like I think it was a Panini 2018 Panini National Treasures rookie patch autographs card, one of one. And it sold for like $3 million. Now, it's a good thing that it sold for $3 million, but it was kind of created. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. Now, the National Treasures product is definitely the blue chip of the modern, but how many one-of-one Doncic cards are there from 2018? There's probably several hundred, if not 1,000. I don't know. There's a lot, right?
Wow.
And so, but they're not from National Treasures. They're other products that are one of one. So I hear you on the manufactured scarcity for sure. And buyers need to be aware of that. They need to understand that when you're looking at pop reports on vintage, you're going to see something completely different than when you're looking at a pop report on a modern.
Exactly. And we've said this, Ty Cobb is dead. He's not coming back. You know what I mean? So what's out there is out there. The same thing with Ruth and Gehrig and the rest of those guys.
Sure.
JM, right?
Yeah.
Mike, I want to mention, because I think there are going to be a lot of collectors out there that want to go to your site and check out these cards. The mid-50s obviously was a golden age of baseball. You've got some 53 Topps cards, Roy Campanella, Bob Feller. You got some Koufax rookie cards, and you got a run of Clemente cards from, I think, 55 to 73.
Those are doing well.
Talk about, that's a great grouping of cards with some great names in there that I think people need to check out.
Yeah, definitely. So those cards not only they're special, but they're also they're higher grade. I think we got a lot of 8s that are in there. Those don't pop up every day. They're not like 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s. They're 8s. There's some 7.5s, some 7s sprinkled in there in the 53 groupings. Those cards are special. They're rare. And one thing that I'm proud of at SCP is that we compete with everybody. So those cards are going to sell for what they're supposed to sell for, based on recent comps, and those are strong cards. And if you're a collector, those are cards you want in your collection. We're talking about blue chip stocks. Those are blue chip stocks. Those are going to, in 10 years from now, they're going to be worth a lot more than they're worth right now. I would bet on that big time. And Tom, you were talking about blue chip stocks earlier with the vintage. There are some modern cards that, Warren Buffett doesn't just buy the blue chip stuff. He's buying, modern tech.
Good point.
Apple, right? So Tom Brady cards, that's Apple.
Good point.
Right?
Very good
Michael
point.
Jordan, that's,
I couldn't agree with you more. I could not agree with you more. You're right.
Yeah. So, and you guys love Tom Brady. So you go buy your Tom Brady. That's the Apple stock. Buy your Roberto Clemente's. And your 1950s tops, and that's your
so what do you call like a Ja Morant card? Is that a penny stock, hoping that you're going to hit a home run with it?
I wouldn't say it's a little more than a penny stock. There's probably a little more hope in Ja Morant maybe, but Jalen Hurts, that might be a gamble, right? He's having a good season. He's very young in his career. His cards are killing in terms of relativity with other modern football.
And you can look at that, and I agree with you. I mean, listen, there are some great investments, there's no doubt, but then again, you're really kind of rolling the dice with a young player. I mean, again, we've talked about 100%. Zion Williamson a zillion times, or Tatis. He gets into the steroid thing. His card's worthless now. You get a guy like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is okay, but Justin Herbert. Those are guys that were off the charts when they came in, but now it's a little iffy. They're coming back down to earth as players, and so their cards have kind of decreased.
100%. As good as Luka is, like you mentioned earlier, he's not. Has he won a championship? I mean, that's a huge part of that investment. How many MVPs does he have? Right? I mean,
Exactly.
none. So you got to look out for that stuff. You got to be careful. If Jalen Hurts wins a Super Bowl this year, and you've been buying his cards this year in the last couple of years, hey, good investment. You did well. If he doesn't ever win a Super Bowl, I don't know what those cards are going to look like in 10 years or after his career's over, right? And I just don't know. John Morant gets hurt tomorrow and never plays again.
Exactly.
I don't know what you're doing.
Exactly.
I don't know what
See,
you're doing with those cards.
That's, yeah. I mean, so we're basically, saying the same thing. What about, again, this is another question that we ask a lot of our guests, what we call tweeners. The second tier Hall of Famers from the 50s and 60s, guys like Al Kaline, guys like Rod Carew, guys like Yaz, guys like pick somebody else out. Those cards, are they stagnant, or are they creeping up as time goes on?
I think as people build their set registries and they're trying to accomplish their own personal collecting goals, those cards, they're going to grow in value. The more people that get into the hobby in that regard, those cards will be more coveted because they're going to be needed, at least in the high grade.
Right.
Is what I'm saying. So they're not going to explode like a Clemente rookie or like a Jackie rookie or anything like that. But they definitely are going to hold some value, and they're going to be coveted, and there's going to be some demand for them as the hobby grows and people are building their sets out for sure.
Hey, Mike, I always like to ask our guests.
Jay, we got about 2
current
minutes.
auctions
We got about 2 more minutes.
That, in terms of like a wow item to you, maybe something we haven't mentioned yet that's either a neat item, a unique item, maybe something that isn't the higher end, but it could be a higher end. But what's an item that you can pick out, or even a couple items that are pretty unique to this auction?
Well, one thing I would say is we check out the type ones we have. We got some really important, unique type ones. We just added a Joe Jackson yesterday from 1919.
Wow.
That was from the 1940 play ball photo shoot. It's a Conlon photo. It's phenomenal. Check those out. But the other segment that I'm really proud of for this auction is our Olympic gold medals. We've got a bunch of gold medals. And we've been killing it with gold medals. The Yuri Chaban collection, he's from Ukraine. He's going to donate everything to charity. We also have a 1908 golf gold medal. It's the only one known. Phenomenal piece. Encourage you to read that write-up. A lot of cool history and collectability there. Huge investment stuff. Really important for just sports in general are these gold medals.
His name is Mike Keys, COO, SCP Auctions. Go to scpauctions.com. That's the correct...
That's right.
scpauctions.com. The auction's going on right now. Ends on December 10th. Get your bids in. Hey, Mike, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming on. We want to get you back on down the road.
100%. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, John. Really glad to be here.
And go Celtics.
Thanks, Mike.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Nice guy.
Really good guy.
Yeah,
great auction, too.
Yeah.
Great auction.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I think Jared from Pristine Auctions is going to be joining us, but you never know. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Kavile and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby,
Look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
They are prized possessions, and you need a place to store them that is safe and secure. The eBay Vault is exactly that. An insured, climate-controlled facility with state-of-the-art security that guards your valuable collection around the clock. Your Vault account is protected by two-step verification and easily accessible through eBay Collection. And everything stored in the eBay Vault is backed by Authenticity Guarantee. Buying and selling is a seamless experience. When you buy an eligible card on eBay, it can be sent directly to the eBay Vault at checkout. Or, if it's already in the eBay Vault, you can just keep it there. And selling from the eBay Vault is just as easy. Every card in the vault has been expertly inspected, detailed, and photographed, so you can quickly sell it with a pre-populated listing. And if your buyer chooses to withdraw their card from the eBay Vault, we handle packing, shipping, and insurance. And same goes for you. If you want that rare rookie card in your hands, you can have it shipped to you at any time. Collect like a pro with the eBay Vault.
The eBay Vault is climate controlled, insured, and protected with 24-hour security, JM. Soon you'll be able to send cards already in your collection directly to the eBay Vault. They will take high-quality photos of the front and back of the card and document all the details for your viewing pleasure and to make the listing-to-sell process seamless. For more info, go to eBay, connecting buyers and sellers globally. I think Jared flew the coop. I blame David for this. I definitely, I blame David. You know something, David. He's supposed to follow up. He's not feeling well, right, David? Oh, he can't speak, can he?
Yeah, he can't speak.
I mean, he can if he chooses to, but
He's got a sore throat. He can't speak. But anyway,
Yeah, I got a sore throat. You're blaming me.
Why not? Right? You're far away from us.
I'll go breathe on you.
During a commercial break, we have a few minutes. During a commercial break, I was talking to Chrissy about how much knowledge she has on the game of baseball. And she is a real fan coming from Australia. So, Chrissy, just a brief question.
Yeah.
Do you know how many players are in the field?
None, because they're on the field. Trick question, right?
Okay.
Ha-ha.
How many players are on the field? Can you name the positions?
Shortstop.
There's one. That's because of Rico.
Pitcher.
That's two.
First, second, and third baseman.
Go.
Outfielders. Infielders.
Well, no, that's the shortstop.
I don't know.
You just have one more to name.
What I do, the batter? I mean, that's a guy, right?
No, that's not in the field.
Umpire.
Catcher.
That's a
The catcher.
Catcher.
Now,
what did I say?
Do you have a favorite player?
Rico Petrocelli.
Okay.
Red Sox All-Star.
That hasn't been retired for 60 years?
The only other one that I know, David Ortiz.
Okay, he's not playing.
That's a good one, yeah.
It's because he has a cigar company. He's downstairs in the cigar. He's a cigar.
Rico,
Who
I'd
does?
say,
Big Papi.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he has Big Papi cigars.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'd say
Free plug, you're welcome.
Ortiz and Rico are about 1-2.
I would say that.
I mean, the Great Bambino, but I mean, he's not even alive anymore. So
That's
there you go.
right. But you know something,
Joe
JM?
DiMaggio.
Rico,
You're welcome.
we tease Rico, as you know.
He's a great player.
He was really a good player.
He's a great player.
I mean, he had a spectacular glove. I think
Yes,
Rico,
he did.
if you look at his numbers, you really take a hard look at his numbers, JM. Other than the fact that he had a 251 lifetime batting average, you look at his home runs, over 200 home runs, 220 or 240 home runs. Look at his hits. If he had a 280, 290 lifetime batting average, he would be in the conversation.
He would be. And the other thing, Zapp, and you did it when you did that book with Rico. What was the Rico book you did that I was excluded from?
It's called An All-Stars Cardboard Memories.
Great book.
Written by
not
Tom
as
and
well
Ellen
written as- not
Zappala
as
with
well
Joe
written as the other
Orlando
one.
and Rico Petrocelli and not John Molori.
There was a great book, not as well written. We understand that, but he went up again. Talk being a 250 batting average. Guy went up against some of the best pitchers of all time during his career.
He did.
From the mid 60s to the mid 70s. But he was a part of it. Like the other night, I was watching that. I'm like, Jesus, he was on first.
I know.
For Cabo's home run that to me is one of the great, if not the greatest, clutch home run of all time.
I agree. You know what?
Even more than Fisk's.
No,
Because
I
if
agree.
there's no Cabo, there's no Fisk.
There's no Fisk. You know what? One of the other things about Rico's career was, it's very unique, but he literally played with two generations of players, right?
He did.
I mean, think about this. When he started, he's hitting against guys like Hoyt Wilhelm, Sandy Koufax, Bob Gibson, right? And then who does he finish his career with? Goose Gossage, playing against George Brett, Dennis Eckersley.
Right.
I mean,
well, think about the opponents, right? He saw the end of Mickey Mantle and, some of those great, Willie Mays, who went into the 70s, obviously. Hank Aaron, who in the mid-70s retired. But then, like you said, he was in the National League, but he saw the Mike Schmidts, the George Bretts. He saw Rod Carew come into his own in the 70s, right?
I mean,
the guys he played with.
When you think about that, like, Rico and Jimmy Rice are very, very close friends. They're very good friends, right? But they only played together for a year, 2 years.
Rico was gone in 76.
Right. So
he was gone after 76. Yeah.
Right.
I know.
And Rice went on to, I don't know how many years, but you think about that, they played together, but it was at the very end of Rico's career.
I know, and that's why those, the seven. He was gone by 78, but that 75 team. Look, the Reds might have been the greatest team ever assembled.
I think they were.
That year. But to have been able to see Rico get one, Yaz get one, Rice and Evans and Lynn were still at the beginning of their careers, but those guys would never get one in terms of a ring. You know what I mean? And that would have been really nice to see. And I think the Red Sox, I know the Red Sox, as much as people get on John Henry, I think that John Henry and Werner and Lucchino, when he was there, have done a great job embracing those players from the 70s, 80s, and even into the 90s that got close.
I agree.
Lynn's back with the team. Fisk is back with the team. Rice is doing media. The late Jerry Remy, unbelievable. So
I
think they've done a really good job at bringing those guys into the joy and the championship joy that
Totally
we've had
agree.
the last 20 years or so.
JM, before we call it a day, why don't you tell our viewers and listeners about Joe Drelich? Joe was on earlier about the Philly show.
Yeah.
A little recap.
East Coast Sports Marketing and Hunt Auctions are pleased to present the Philadelphia Sports Collectors Show, the Philly Show, from Friday, December 2nd to Sunday, December 4th, held at our new location, the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center, Hall A, 100 Station Ave, Oaks, Pennsylvania. Shop over 250 of your favorite hobby dealer booths on over 75,000 square feet of sports collectibles heaven from the 1800s to present day. Major sports auction houses and third-party grading and authentication companies are on hand to assist your collecting needs. The Philly Show is family-friendly, and all kids 12 and under get in for free. Autographed guests to include Baseball Hall of Famers Wade Boggs, one of my favorites, and Vlad Guerrero Sr., Philadelphia Eagles greats Brandon Graham, Keith Byers, a former Patriot, Seth Joyner, and many more. For more information, go to phillyshow.com. Remember, since 1975, the Philly Show is where it all started. That new location, I guess, is great, Zap.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
I'll miss the casino because I did win $74.
Listen, do me a favor before we break. Don't go down that road.
And still let you buy dinner.
Exactly. Don't go down that road. You won at the casino, and I still bought freaking dinner. What's wrong with this world? All right, JM, listen, hope to see you back in the studio sometime this century. Actually, I want to see you back in here before we leave for Florida.
I will. I'm going to try to do the next one. If I don't have this obligation, I'll be there.
Okay, good. David, David, I know you crawled out of a sick bed to help us out today, and we greatly appreciate it. Get well soon. And
get healthy, Dave. Get healthy, buddy.
Just take care of yourself. Chrissy, yeoman's work today. Thank you so much.
I don't know what that was.
Thanks, Chrissy.
As always, we love you, and you did a great job.
I know another thing about baseball.
Oh, God. Let's hear it.
There's no crying in baseball.
That's very good. That's very good.
So I'd leave everyone with that.
All right. With that being said, to our viewers and listeners, thank you so much for the support. We've had a great year. This is our 7th freaking year, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow.
With that being said, happy collecting.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.